RMJ movie reviews back again, and coming with an on-the-fly movie review. My movie review is supposed to come on Thursday. This is actually Friday morning, but whatever. The reason for that is simply because I just caught Suicide Squad today. Let me cut off through this. Look, I don't care about the whole Marvel is doing better than DC. Look, I like Batman versus Superman. Granted, the movie is very flawed. There's a lot of studio interference, whatever. It's a hot property. Look, they gambled on it, and they were wrong, and it didn't turn out right. But regardless, I still like the film. Suicide Squad, I didn't even know it was a comic book. I don't know anything about these characters at all. So me knowing that they were filming the movie, I honestly could have cared less. But when I saw the first trailer that came out way, I don't know, it was in the spring or whatever it was, I was intrigued. I was like, okay, this looks different. And when I saw that Will Smith took this movie, I was like, you made a good choice because Independence Day resurgence. But either way, so I had no expectations. I just went sorely off the trailer. And look, I've been hearing this stupid stuff that people want to shut down Rotten Tomatoes and Rotten Tomatoes sucks and the reviews are negative. Let me tell you how RMJ Movie Reviews feels about it. I loved it. I absolutely love this movie from top to bottom. I'm going to tell you why I loved it. Number one, I love the fact that they took a traditional kind of outline. Like, you know, you get the worst of the worst, you know, and you put them on this secret mission. And everybody gets their cool introductions. I love the way the movie does that. And I also like that it just has all these bizarre, weird characters. And they really push the colors of the movie. There's some really cool cinematography. I love the wacky, eccentric characters. I love the icky, gritty, comic book kind of environment. It's almost like if they took... because the movie is directed by... what's his name? I think it's David Ayer, who wrote Training Day, Dark Blue. He directed Street Kings, Harsh Times with Christian Bale, if anybody even remembers or knows about that small movie. So he kind of brings a little bit of his Training Day, Street Kings kind of grit with this comic book world. So it's almost like if you took Training Day and Tim Burton's Batman. Actually, no. It's like if you took Training Day and Tim Burton's Batman Returns and melded them into one little thing. That's kind of Suicide Squad. So you kind of have the gritty environment of Training Day and the very special effects, great set design, and very eccentric and dark characters of Batman Returns, and you meld them together. I love that about this film. Like everybody's been saying, and you know, in my opinion, these negative reviews I just think are wrong. Because this is a fun movie, and in my personal opinion, this has been the funnest movie of the entire summer. I will go as to so far that I actually enjoyed this film more than Captain America Civil War. I'm not saying it's a better film, because Captain America Civil War is a very good film. It's a good film, but it's also a very good comic book movie and an entertaining summer movie. This here is just, to me, a funner film. I enjoyed myself a little bit more because I felt like I was seeing something a little bit different, you know, gritty, just that like I was telling you, just the meld of like a gritty Training Day environment with a dark, eccentric Batman Returns type of movie. That's a new thing. So these reviewers who are saying the movie is bad, they're just wrong. And I heard a couple of, oh God, I'm gonna get onto the PG-13 thing in a little bit. But, you know, them saying it's bad, I really don't understand what they're coming. Maybe they had expectations. I don't know. I didn't have any. I really enjoyed the film. But one thing I will agree with some of the negative reviews that I read is that the strongest part of the movie is just the Suicide Squad themselves and the characters. Obviously, you know, Harley Quinn and Will Smith, the alligator guy, and strangely, I don't know how this was pulled off, but Jai Courtney is very good in this film. I really loved his character, so I think Jai Courtney needs to stick with this kind of stuff when it's just different, not the traditional lead square jaw hero guy roles. He needs to stay away from that. He needs to do actor stuff like this because he's very good in this film. Kyle Reese, stay far, far away from that, please. But I will say the strongest half of the movie is when you're just meeting the characters and seeing how crazy they are. When the movie kind of falls apart is their mission. Their mission was just like, I don't care. I was kind of confused about... There's a main villain. I got the whole thing. I got what the main villain did, but kind of the way it's introduced and then it's kind of showed in flashbacks with a twist. I was kind of confused about this big evil that the Suicide Squad had to take down. But I will say, because of this weird tone and this kind of different thing that I've never seen before of gritty environment with comic book characters, I really just enjoyed the movie. I mean, the character Harley Quinn and Will Smith alone were just fun enough for me to be invested in it. Jay Hernandez from Hostel and a brief appearance in Hostel Part 2. I didn't even realize that was him till I really looked at the guy's face and I said, that's Jay Hernandez. Really good in this movie. RoboCop remake guy and Run All Night guy. I'm not really. I don't really enjoy him that much as a performer, but I thought he was good in this film. I thought he was very good in this film. But I really say the characters and let me move on to Jared Leto. I got to talk about him. One thing I thought was cool too was I thought Suicide Squad did a little bit right because they're kind of jocking. That's an old school '90s term, jocking. That just basically means ripping off or copying somebody. But this movie's kind of jocking Marvel a little bit, where you kind of try to incorporate elements of other comic book characters to kind of have a through line that they're the same universe. And I will say, I think Suicide Squad did that very well. Unlike Batman vs. Superman, where it felt totally shoehorned in with the whole Justice League thing. But, spoiler, I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Flash shows up in this movie. We already know Batman shows up because they show him in the previews. And that's the extent of Batman's involvement. The Flash looks awesome. His suit looks just awesome. I was like, okay, badass. And Batman, Ben Affleck didn't necessarily have to be in the suit, but I think they wanted to keep some continuity. And if I'd have been Ben Affleck, that was probably part of his Batman vs. Superman thing, was to make a cameo in this. But they could have just had a stunt guy do it. It would have been fine. But Batman's appearance, I really like. There's a cool moment that I'm not gonna give away. But Batman's appearance is pointless, not really needed. But it's just to have him and the Joker kind of meet, and put that in our heads that Jared Leto is Joker, Ben Affleck is Batman. They've met. They want that in this universe, without Bale or Ledger around, obviously, anymore. And also, they just wanted this to be part of the same universe, and I thought that was good. I thought it was very well done here, and it didn't keep pounding you over the head like Batman vs. Superman did. And Jared Leto is Joker. Look, Heath Ledger took it to such a whole nother level. It can't be topped. There's always going to be comparisons. Just like when Heath Ledger first stepped in, there was always a comparison to Jack Nicholson. Jack's Joker was different. Jack's Joker was a sociopath, but he was a sociopath like Cesar Romero. Okay, Heath Ledger's version was more like Malcolm McDowell from A Clockwork Orange, psychopath, and it worked. Jared Leto here is kind of really more along the lines of, it looks like he's kind of trying to meld Ledger and Nicholson together and kind of puked out his own little thing. So this Joker is kind of more like, he's still pure psychopath like Ledger's was, but I would almost say he's kind of even more crazier because he's just. And I will agree with, I've heard some reviewers saying that he was kind of pushing it a little bit too hard, but I think the guy had no choice. He had to push this. I mean, he's gonna be stuck being compared to Heath Ledger, but Heath Ledger, God rest his soul, is no longer with us, so this is what we have. So, this is the new Joker. I was fine with it. I was enjoying his performance. He looked like he was having fun. I was cool with it. So he's kind of a little bit of like a street gangsterish kind of stuff you might see out of California, and mixed with the Joker. I was fine with that. He was good. He's not really even in this movie that much, but every scene that he was in, I highly enjoyed. Matter of fact, my favorite scene in the movie is where him and Harley Quinn, basically this is like their marriage or how their relationship is their official bond. And I really like it. It was just a weird kind of thing, and I love the colors. Basically, it's like a moment in Batman '89 where Jack Nicholson falls into the Goose stuff. That's basically what happens here. And I will say there's a lot of homages in this film. There's an homage to Escape from New York, an homage to Batman '89. There's an homage to that could be an homage to Terminator 2 too, maybe. And there's also an homage to a little bit of stuff to Ghostbusters, the original '84 version of kind of the stuff with Zool at the end in the temple. It's kind of a semi kind of homage to that with the Ghostbusters walking towards Zool. Cool little homages in there. I don't know if the filmmakers were thinking that, but maybe I'm just too much of a movie geek that I see those things. But I really liked that. I really enjoyed that. It was just their mission I just did not find interesting at all. So, those are the things that I just really loved about the movie. Slight negatives, I will agree with other people. There's too many characters. And there's some characters that by the time they come in, they leave so quick, it's just like you weren't even needed, And like I said, their mission, that's a slight negative. The PG-13 rating here, that was a mistake for this. Excuse my language, they pussied out and they made it PG-13. This is not a kid's film, and they're trying to market it that way. This is, and you can tell there's moments where like the violence was more gritty or the language was more gritty. There's like a scene where they're in a strip club bar. And it is the nastiest looking place I ever seen. And it's gritty. I could tell there's another version where they shot it way worse. But, these punks trimmed it down and they punked out. But this ain't no PG-13 movie. This is a hard R. This is a hard R, watered down to be a PG-13 for mass appeal. And, digressing a little bit, that's why I love 80s movies so much. In the 80s, they didn't pussy out like this. But, there are a bunch of pussies out here now. Deadpool is the only movie that had the balls enough to just do what it needed to do. But this is a movie in the vein of Deadpool. This is not a PG-13. And the PG-13 really hinders it. Jared Leto, I just felt like he was probably pushing it a lot more when they filmed it, but it was trimmed back. It just feels toned down. And that's the biggest problem. And I know they talked about the reshoots. I will say, when the movie is being its original thing of gritty street kind of movie with comic book movie, it's working good. When it becomes this PG-13 traditional summer blockbuster movie with cities breaking and falling and all that, that's kind of where the movie falls apart. But to me, I just think the weird tone and the eccentric characters and the costumes and the colors, was enough that I'd love to see a sequel. I really hope that this movie is a blockbuster. And I hope it makes enough money that they make a sequel and they let David Ayer just do whatever the hell he wants to do. That probably won't happen because this is a property. But I really wish that would happen. I will say there were things in here that felt forced. Particularly some of the humor did feel like it was reshoots. I know there were some people who said that scene in the bar felt like a reshoot. I'd agree with that. it felt, if that scene felt tacked on to me. And I will say, as far as I know, people been complaining about the music, with them kind of using poppy songs. Like the scene, there's like a part where they use Eminem, and I'm just like, and it's one of Eminem's like older songs from like maybe mid 2000s. I don't know, actually, no. That's damn. I think that song's from 1999 when I was in high school. Jeez. But either way, I was just kind of like, no. And some traditional poppy songs they use kind of work. What I really like is there's some song, and I think this might be a pop song. I don't know. I could be wrong. Somebody could put in the comment section. But there's a song where when Harley Quinn agrees to this bond with the Joker in the marriage before she jumps into the goose stuff, there's a really cool musical cue. And I don't know if that's score or if that's actually a pop song. But I love that song that they play every time the Joker and her are together. I love that song. It's a very good musical cue. Somebody please put in the comment section what that song is, and let me know if that's score or if that's a pop song. If it's a pop song, let me know the name and the artist who made it, because I want to download it. I love that cue. But all in all, I love the movie. To me, it was a 10 out of 10. I highly enjoyed myself. I forgave the flaws. I could have cared less about their mission. I was just so involved with them and thought they were so fun. My only thing is, when they make a sequel, I just hope they go balls to the wall and make this the hard R that it really is. Because David Ayer is not a PG-13 writer or director. He's a hard R director. That's why they brought him on, to bring his gritty touch. But you see, they punked out because they were scared about Batman vs Superman. You know what I mean? But I think if they would have just let David just go 100% with his thing, I think it worked. I think it worked better when it was the first half of the movie. When it got into the second half, it kind of fell apart. But look, I'm on board for a sequel. I hope they make it. So come on, Suicide Squad 2, The Return to Suicide Squad. I'm there. I'm in. Okay. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and leave comments down below about Suicide Squad, difference in opinion. There was a couple of a-holes in the theater who were walking out going, oh my god, that was so bad. I was just like, I wanted to Steven Seagal him, man, and just karate chop him. Like, shut up, it was good. What do you want, some little... I'm going to calm down, guys. I enjoyed the movie. The next movie review is going to be coming in on Saturday. It's actually going to be a double feature bill of Revenge of the Nerds from 1984 and Surviving the Game, starring Mr. Ice-T himself and Rutger Hauer. RMJ Movie Reviews, I'll see you folks soon.